Welcome to the Anxiety Connection. If you've ever struggled with anxiety and are ready to finally get some answers, you've come to the right place. Hi, my name is Wendy Leeds, and I've suffered with anxiety my entire life. Thankfully, I'm also a psychotherapist, and over the years, I've learned a lot about anxiety, where it comes from, and how to manage it. That's what this podcast is all about. So, let's grab a cup of tea and talk about it. So, you dragged yourself out of bed this morning. You ate a stale powdered donut for breakfast, pulled on a pair of sweatpants with matching sweatshirt, and thought, gee, I think these are definitely smaller than they were last month. You downed 2 cups of coffee, and then you thought about getting to work, maybe getting something productive done. But just the thought of work made you so tired that all you could do was go lie down on the sofa and then watch reruns of Friends until lunchtime. Does any of that sound familiar? Look, if you're gaining weight, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're already tired when you get up in the morning, if you're dragging, have no energy, not getting things done, down in the dumps, or just plain depressed, stick around because we have a lot to talk about today. This winter isn't like anything we have ever seen before. We're already dealing with COVID and the fear, the isolation, the loneliness this pandemic has made such a part of our lives for this past year. And now, here in the Northern Hemisphere, and maybe where you are, we are facing the cold, short, dark days of winter. And with that change of season comes, for so many of us, something called Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD, which, as you can hear, spells sad. And I think that is absolutely the perfect name for this because it can make you really sad. But this year, we're dealing with both of them at the same time. COVID and SAD are both coming at us together this winter, and they are creating a perfect storm of misery for so many of us. Today, I want to talk about how we can deal with both of them, SAD and COVID, at the same time. And I'm going to share 10 things we can do to tackle both of them. 10 things we can do to get us feeling better right now, and then to get us through the next few months. But before I get to the 10 things, let me talk a little bit about what seasonal affective disorder is. I think we all know what COVID is at this point. Enough said. So SAD is seasonal affective disorder. Exactly what it says. It's seasonal. It is a feeling of sadness that only happens at certain times of year, and it affects how we feel. For most people, most of us, it begins late fall and ends sometime in the early spring. But you can have SAD anytime throughout the year. And how do I know that? I know that because I have SAD in the summer. I am miserable in the heat. I just am not a fan of long, hot, sunny days. And if you are, I salute you. I am miserable in the summer. And my symptoms are almost exactly the opposite of the symptoms those of you who have SAD in the winter experience. Look, we all have trouble sleeping. SAD interrupts our sleep. But instead of overeating, which tends to happen in the winter version of SAD, I lose my appetite. I don't want to eat in the heat. And I don't get sad or depressed, which is the hallmark of winter SAD. I get anxious. And let me tell you, I count the days until the first cool day of fall. I count the minutes until fall comes. People who know me know I hate the summer. And I bet I'm not alone. And if you're like me, we're in this together, my cold gray day loving friend. But we are definitely a minority. And maybe I'll talk about us in a future podcast. But today I want to focus like a laser on the people who are dealing with all the stresses of COVID and the emotional pain of SAD at the same time. This winter is so tough for so many of us. I've heard people around me say, this is the hardest winter they have ever been through. And if I'm talking to you, if you're struggling, I am so sorry. I really get this. And my hope and my plan is that we can work together to find ways to make the next few months easier for us all. So what causes SAD? We're not really sure, but the best guess is, and this really makes sense to me, that there's something about the change of light and the lack of light on these short, dark, cold days of winter, that it interrupts our internal clock, our sense of what time is and what happens when. So, all right. So if light is the issue, it should come as no surprise that really the best treatment for SAD in the winter is to add more light to your life. And step one of the 10 steps we're going to go through today is to lighten up. And I mean that literally. Lighten up your life. And there are a number of ways you can do it. First of all, get outdoors as much as possible. I know if you live in a place like New England where I live, it is cold outside. And if you're going out, it means bundling up. It means gloves and hats and scarves and mittens and boots. But the effort is worth it because getting outside, even for 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day of fresh air and sunshine can make such a difference in how you feel physically and mentally, can make you, think more clearly, but emotionally, it can make a difference. So you're having a day where you're struggling, things aren't going well. It's just one of those days. Stepping outside for just a few minutes can actually shift your mood, change the way you feel, and give you new energy. So, number one, get outside, get more light by getting outside. And if you can't get outside, get more sun. Sit by the window as often as possible during the day. And if you can't, if you aren't sitting by a window at work, why not see if you can find a way to spend some of your breaks, either in the sun, maybe outdoors. Just get a little bit of sun. It will make your day better. Getting sunlight is great for easing SAD, but it's going to help you feel better in general. You can also include more light in your surroundings, in your environment. Consider painting your walls a lighter color. Replace drapes with, get some nice light curtains that let more light in. Add a lamp or two to brighten up the corners of your home. I'm not talking about making a big change. Sometimes just adding, changing the shades on your lamp, finding a shade that lets more light out, or opening the blinds earlier in the morning can make a real difference in how you feel. So get more sun, get more light. But if your symptoms of SAD persist, and they may, I suggest you consider getting and using something called a light box. A light box is this box that replaces natural light without having any harmful ultraviolet light. Studies show that using a light box 30 minutes to 2 hours a day can be as effective as Prozac in dealing with SAD. And it works in a week. Prozac takes 2 weeks. So this is a great place to think about starting. If you're suffering from SAD, this is something you really might want to look into. I know a number of people who use them, swear by them. And just in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, or if you'd like to look into picking up one for yourself, I've added a link to some light boxes in the show notes. So go take a look, see if this might be something that might work for you. So step 1 is light. Step 2 is to connect with as many other people as humanly possible. And I know you get your hands up and you're saying, really, Wendy, we know COVID, and COVID is all about staying away from as many other people as possible. And here lies the difficulty. Our research tells us that one of the most important things you can do to keep seasonal affective disorder at bay is to keep those connections with others. So COVID has us keeping away. SAD says come together. What the heck do we do? For now, just for now, the solution has to be that we stay connected virtually through FaceTime, Zoom, online phone, however you're in touch with the world these days. That's how we're going to be in touch. But here's the deal. You just cannot leave something this important to your health and well-being to chance. This human connection is essential, critical that you make those connections to others a top priority in your life. So no fair just talking about getting together sometime or promising we'll get together at some later date. No more promising. From now on, only doing, only connecting. This winter, it's absolutely necessary to make a date to get together and to keep it. And better still, commit to regular times for getting together. Let's talk every Tuesday afternoon at 2, or let's play virtual Scrabble every Saturday night. Hardwire these get-together times into your schedule. Please just make it clear to yourself and everyone in your life that making these connections is at the top of your to-do list this winter, not negotiable. And just remember, you're thinking it's all about you, but it isn't. Having you in their life is just as important to the people around you as they are in your life. You are important to the people around you. You matter. And this is a time when it's really important you be there for them as well. We need to hold our hands and do this together. If you don't have a lot of people to connect with, consider joining an online support group or take an online course. You can meet people that way. Look, because of COVID, we are going to have to connect with each other in a different way, but that doesn't change our need for human connection. It is critical to who we are and our good health. It makes this connection more important than ever this winter. So get connected and stay connected. Step 2. Step 3 is make a daily schedule and stick to it. Especially important if you're living alone and you're struggling to find the energy to get simple things done. But truly, making a schedule can work for any of us. And just as an aside, if you're living with others and you want to find a way to kind of bring everybody together, sit down with everybody. Work together to create a schedule that everybody agrees to. It'll make your life so much easier. So no matter how you create a schedule, having a schedule builds routine into your life, and that gives your life structure. I'm talking about planning to eat at regular times, to exercise at the same time every day, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever you choose, to work, to sleep, to play, go to bed, get up every day at the same time. Why does this matter? because when you have a routine, you don't have to rely on spur of the moment decisions, which may not be in your best interest. You know what I'm talking about. I think I'll just eat this bag of M&Ms instead of lunch. Nobody else notices. Or I'll just have an extra glass of wine before dinner. I'll eat later. Oh, maybe I'll have a second glass. You know what I'm talking about. I think I'll skip my workout today. I'm a little tired. I think I'll take a nap. It allows you to make excuses. But when you have a schedule, you know what comes next. And when you know what comes next, chances are so much better that you'll do it. If it's already in the plan, you're much more likely to follow through. So the solution to getting up and getting busy and getting out of your own way is to create a routine and stick with it. If you're struggling with insomnia, it's especially important that you make a plan to go to bed at the same time every night. It's really important, and it may help you get better sleep. All right, here are my two Wendy's absolute rules for feeling better this winter. First of all, number one, make your bed every single day. Number one, make your bed. Secondly, no more sweatpants. I mean it. Now imagine you're saying, Wendy, I'm alone here. Why should I bother with either of those two things? No one's here to see me but me. Who else cares if my bed is made or not? And I say to you, the most important person on this planet, and I am talking to you, you amazing human being, the most important person on this planet is going to see and is going to care. I'm telling you. You are a wonderful person and you deserve to look at a tidy bed. It will make you feel better. And you deserve to enjoy feeling and looking great, no matter what day it is and no matter who sees you. You see you and you see that bed. So ditch the sweats, make the bed. No excuses. Right. Step 4 is to take care of yourself physically. It's so easy to get lost in the sort of the day after dayness of this, but it's really important to take good care of your body. And that begins by eating a balanced diet, no matter what you're dealing with. But if you're dealing with SAD, we're beginning to think that eating fewer carbs may help you feel better, may help ease the blues. I know you're craving macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes, but if you can back away from the carbs, I think it will help your mood lift. And just as an aside, if you've gained weight recently, and I've talked to people who are experiencing that, and you're looking to drop a few pounds, and you want to know the secret to what I call in touch eating, and it's a secret, you can just go to page 258 of my book, Common Sense. You can find out how to get it in the show notes. I give you this, I'm going to say this. I give you the skinny, I'm sorry, on the eating techniques you can use to lose weight. It's not about what you're eating. It's about how you're eating. Okay. Getting back to scheduling, let me get back to step 3, which is scheduling. And that makes eating well and exercise so much more a part of your life. So schedule them. Schedule your eating, schedule your exercise, schedule your sleep. And let me add to this, it's important to get enough water. These days, we found out being hydrated helps with almost everything. And it certainly helps with how you feel. Getting enough water, being hydrated can help ease anxiety and depression. So make sure you get your 6 to 8 ounce glasses of water every single day. Feeling better physically makes such a difference in your emotional state. And making sure you get all your health habits in every single day is going to make a difference in how you feel as you go forward. So please take care of you, please. Step 5, check on your vitamin D level. The jury is still out on this, on the effect of vitamin D on SAD, but there seems to be some correlation that there are studies that show that taking vitamin D may help with some of the symptoms of SAD. And we know it's important for bone health. So I'm not saying just go take vitamin D. I'm saying talk to your healthcare provider, get your levels checked. And if your vitamin D level is low, and if you're in the north and you're not getting a lot of sunlight, it may be low, then you want to consider taking some vitamin D. But don't just go take it, because it's possible to take too much vitamin D. So check in with your healthcare provider before you do anything, and you can work together with her to decide what's best for you. So think about vitamin D. Step 6, we're going in a new direction here, because step 6 is about looking at this time, this winter, this year differently. I think for a lot of people, this year, this winter, have felt like a complete waste of time. Our dreams have been put on hold. The things we planned to do or accomplish were impossible, couldn't do them. We spent our days watching TV, overeating, playing video games, or however you spent your reading. And it's felt like we're wasting our lives 1 hour at a time. But what if we looked at this time differently? What if we decided this time wasn't a waste, but an opportunity to rest and regenerate, to grow deeper, healthier roots, to see our lives differently? I'd love to share something that I love this, and maybe you've heard of this before. This is the parable of how the Chinese bamboo grows. This is one of my favorite stories. All right. The Chinese bamboo is really, it's very unique. And unlike any plant in our gardens, this is not a radish or a tomato. In fact, in my experience, it grows unlike any other plant on earth. Just like other plants, it starts as a seed. And like other seeds, the bamboo seed has to be planted in fertile ground. It also has to be watered every day. But at this point, the Chinese bamboo starts looking very different from other plants. You plant it in fertile ground and you water it. And for the first year, you water that bamboo and you can watch, but you're not going to see anything happen. You're not going to see a single sign of anything changing above ground. Nothing appears to happen. But that's not the end of it. The same thing happens the second year. You still have to show up every day and water that seed and do it on faith that somehow something's happening under the ground. There's growth, there's change, because from where you're standing, you don't see a single sign of growth or change. You don't see anything but dirt. Guess what? It's the same thing in the third year and the fourth year. Think of how long that is, day after day. You just have to show up and water that seed on faith that something's happening under the ground. And if you give up and say, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, or if you get so curious you can't stand it and you dig up the seed to see what's going on with its roots, is it changing? If you do either of those things, the plant dies. So you have to show up and you have to stay faithful. 5 years, you water that plant on faith that there's change and growth happening under the ground where you can't see it. You know, the saying, walk by faith, not by sight. This applies to the bamboo, that my goodness. But here's the deal. If you stick this out for those 5 years, your patience is going to be rewarded in the most remarkable way possible. Because once that plant starts to grow, it comes out of the ground at up to a foot a day. People say you can actually stand there and watch it grow. It comes out of the ground at a foot a day and reaches a height of 80 to 90 feet in just 6 weeks. To me, that is remarkable. What an amazing plant. What an incredible act of faith required. And what a good lesson for those times in our lives when we feel stuck and it looks like we're getting nothing done and nothing's happening. Maybe this past year, maybe through COVID, maybe through this sad winter, maybe, just maybe, there's something really important going on down below the surface where we can't see. Just maybe. So let me ask you, how long do you think it takes the bamboo plant to grow to its full height? Is it the month or two it took to come out of the ground? Or do you think that seed is growing and changing under the ground, even though you couldn't see it? Was that plant just sitting around wasting its time? Or was it sending out roots and getting ready for that great, remarkable burst of growth coming out of the ground and going straight to the sky? Something to think about. All right, let's get back to the story you and I are telling ourselves about this time we're spending at home. What if this time we're spending at home with families or on our own wasn't a waste of time? But what if this was a time for sending our roots deep into the soil and readying ourselves for the growth spurt to come? And what if this time was necessary, a preparation for those great things ahead? And what if you and I start telling ourselves a different story about what this time really means? We get to choose. You get to choose what this time means in your life. We all do. And we get to choose the story we're going to tell ourselves about this time. I say, let's choose wisely. Step 7, and I know this is going to be hard for some people because I experienced this in the summer, but step 7 is to focus on what you love about the winter. I understand. You may not love much about the winter. I feel the same way about the summer, but I bet we could find a couple things that you enjoy. Maybe the smell of soup or stew on the stove, the smell of baking bread. How about that first sip of coffee or tea in the morning? Oh, I just love the smell of the tea in the morning. Sleeping in. Enough said, just sleeping in. Warm socks. Maybe an lazy afternoon just watching old movies, curling up by the fireplace. A nice hot shower, wearing your favorite comfy sweater, pulling it on in the morning and feeling its warmth. I know maybe you only have 1 or 2 things that you can find that you like about the winter, but if you can find one thing, why not try and include it as often as possible in your schedule? Because finding a couple things that you like may lead you to finding a couple more things. Let's make this time as pleasant as possible and know that spring is coming, which brings me to step 8, and that is to start looking for signs of spring. And you could start right now. I'm talking about things that you look forward to that happen every year that sort of remind you that warmer weather is coming. I have a friend who looks forward to the green milkshakes at McDonald's because that means spring is closer. I have friends, I know a lot of people who count the days until the Cadbury eggs appear. Well, I don't know about this one. They may just like the eggs, but it does remind us that Easter's coming, spring is coming. Maybe you look forward to seeing the spring clothes in the catalog or on the racks, all the beautiful colors. Maybe you count the days till you can walk outside without a coat or a sweater. Around here, around Boston, people count the days till Sullivan opens in Castle Island and they can get their hot dog. Yay. I have a friend who looks forward with great passion to the day the Boston Red Sox bus leaves for Florida because that means another step towards spring. And finally, the day the swan boats open for business, because that really does mean spring is here. Those are things you can look forward to, things that count the days down for you, which brings me to step 9, and that is to make a list of the things you're going to do, you're looking forward to when spring is upon us and we are celebrating. Imagine or planting your garden. Maybe you're already thinking about what you're going to plant. Swimming, in the ocean, at a pool, playing golf, hiking, biking, flying a kite, whatever you look forward to. Maybe you love to cook out or spend a long, lazy afternoon in a hammock doing nothing. I don't know. But anyway, maybe you look forward to sitting in the sun, eating ice cream, hot dogs, fried clams. So this winter, on the days you're feeling you're just not going to make it through the day, just close your eyes and imagine yourself biting into that first fried clam, licking the chocolate sauce off that beautiful ice cream sundae that you love so much. Feel how it's going to be to walk outside with sandals and shorts and a t-shirt. Imagine all of those wonderful things and remember, those days are coming. It's not that far away. You're going to be able to do and enjoy these fun things again. And it's not that long to wait. Make your list and get ready, because I promise you, better days, warmer days are coming your way. Step 10. Step 10 is if you've tried everything you can think of and nothing's working, I'm going to ask you to consider to reach out and get some professional help. I know it is so hard to admit when you're struggling. I grew up in New England and we just suck it up and do it ourselves. But I'm a therapist and I listen to people who have struggled for years with SAD. And there are so many things we can do to help you feel better. No more suffering. I'm going to ask if you are feeling, if you're dealing with pain, if you just can't seem to get out of your own way, think about reaching out to a healthcare provider. Let her know what's going on. Tell her your symptoms. Please, please don't pretend everything's okay when it's not. The person on the other side can help you through this. And you may decide that you want to do talk therapy, that that's the right road for you. As a therapist, I can promise you there are great people out there who can help you feel better. You may decide that medication is the right answer for you. I have seen medication for SAD work miracles. And I encourage you, if that feels right to you, go ahead and take the medication. We need to stop suffering. We need to stop feeling ashamed of not being able to handle every single thing that happens to us. Reach out. Don't do this alone. No more pretending it's okay. All right. 10 ways to help you feel better. Wherever you start, don't put it off. No more suffering. This winter is tough enough. Let's acknowledge this year's been tough. It's been tough for all of us. This winter is even tougher. Tougher for you, tough for the people around you. Let's be gentle with ourselves and with the people in our lives. Please, please take care of yourself. You are such an amazing human being. You deserve the very best. And I'm going to ask that you allow yourself to embrace it. Until we're together again, I wish you peace, joy, and love. Thanks so much for being here with us today at the Anxiety Connection. If you'd like to be a part of the Anxiety Connection, we would so love to have you join us. Just subscribe and you're in. It's that easy. Now, if you found today's message helpful in any way, I would be so honored if you'd leave us a review. And if you haven't heard, my new book has been published. It's called Calm and Sense, A Woman's Guide to Living Anxiety-Free. And it's full of tools and techniques you can use to help ease your anxiety, soothe your panic, and create a calm, centered peace in your heart and in your life. If you'd like to learn more about how this book can help you, or grab a copy for yourself, you'll find a link to the book in the show notes or on my website, wendyleeds.com. And If you know someone in your life who's struggling with anxiety, why not pick up a copy for them too? What a thoughtful gift for someone who might be going through a tough time. Thanks again for being here, and I look forward to being together with you real soon.